Thank you so much, everyone, for staying with us. About 150 travelers, including Almajiri children, were intercepted in 3 vehicles by security operatives along the Abuja-Kaduna road today. They were attempting to move into Kaduna State from the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja, and Nyanya in Nasarawa State. The Kaduna State government says that other Almajiris were also intercepted in Soba and Giwa local government areas of the state. According to the state government, that is Kaduna, out of the 150, 90 are from Kano State, while the others are from Nasarawa State and Baningwari local government in Kaduna. Let's now speak with the governor of Kaduna State, Malam Nasiru El-Rufai. He joins us on the program from Kaduna. Thank you so much, Your Excellency, for joining us tonight on the program. First and foremost, this is some of the news coming in from Kaduna State. Let's begin from there. How are you handling the situation of Almajiris in the northern Nigeria and some of the cases that we hear, and as they move around, there are discoveries of positive cases of coronavirus amidst them. Are you also returning Almajiris out of Kaduna State?
The Northern State Governors Forum took a collective decision at a meeting we had about 2 weeks ago that we will end the Almajiri system completely. We'll abolish it. And part of the steps we took is to repatriate all Almajiris back to their states of origin. And what we agreed as governors is that each state government will take delivery of these Almajiris and return them to their parents and ensure that they go to school. We have done that in Kaduna State. We have repatriated over 30,000 Almajiris from other states in the north back to their states. And we are happy to receive any Almajiris from any state of the Federation that are indigenous to Kaduna State. The only thing we request is that they should be brought in officially by the state government. They should be brought to the Kaduna State government on a bilateral basis, government to government, so that we know when they are coming, we take delivery of them, we prepare to receive them, we test them, and so on. We received 169 Almajiris from Kano of Kaduna State origin, and we immediately quarantined them because of the situation that we're aware of in Kano. And out of the 169, so far, 65 were positive for coronavirus. We are happy to receive them. They are being treated. In fact, the first 2 of them are likely have already tested negative and will be taken to their parents soon so that they go to school when schools reopen. But it is a big problem, but we are happy to receive them because it is our duty to look after them and ensure that they go to school. And in particular, the situation in Kano is such that if these children were not brought to us, they would simply have died in Kano. Some of them would survive the disease, but the situation in Kano is overwhelming. I don't think anyone will remember to look out for Almajiris and test them. So we're happy to receive them, and we're happy to receive them from every part of Nigeria. But what the Northern Governors Forum is determined is to end this system once and for all, because it has not worked for our part of the country. It has been a source of problems for the rest of the country, and we're determined to end it once and for all.
Are you ready or brazen up, especially with your colleague governors, also with what the Almajiri system has posed for you in terms of the handling? It's a system traditionally entrenched in the northern region of the country. Are you ready for perhaps what may be a backlash of this?
We have discussed this and we are ready to face anyone on this subject. There is nowhere in the world where children go through this kind of system which does not give them life skills, it does not prepare them for modern education, and create future problems for generations. We are ready to face anyone that wants to confront us on this matter. We took a decision collectively, without dissent, all the 19 northern governors, and we are going to implement it to the letter. We are ready for any backlash, but we do not think we should mortgage the future of our children and put our region at risk, as well as Nigeria at risk with the continuation of this system. It is archaic, it is out of date, it has not led to any positive results for our region and for our country, and we must end it.
So I was asking that question, Governor, because of, COVID-19 looked like it gave the opportunity to northern state governors to simply just collapse the Almajiri system, which they have preached against in the past months. The question I was trying to drive at is the system that, do you have a system in place to absorb the outcome of breaking down the Almajiri system?
Yes, we have been expanding our schools. I can speak for Kaduna State. We've been expanding our schools. We've been building classrooms to accommodate these children. We do not think there is any alternative. You know, Sharon, it is better to cram 200 children in the primary school classroom and give them some kind of education, modern education, than to allow them to be wasting their lives away, roaming the streets, begging for what to eat under this system. Anything is better than this system, and we are determined as northern governors to end it. We didn't take the decision just because of COVID-19. COVID-19 provided the opportunity because COVID-19 lockdown has enabled us to know where the Almajiris are and to be able to get them at one go. Okay, but for COVID-19 and the lockdown, it would be difficult to collect all of them and be able to document and repatriate them. But COVID-19 provided that window. But this is a subject that the Northern State Governors Forum, under the chairmanship of the Plateau State Governor, Simon Lalong, has been studying for the past 12 months. We've been looking at ways and means of ending this system because it has not worked for the children, it has not worked for Northern Nigeria, it has not worked for Nigeria. It has to end, and this is the time, and we're determined to do so.
Yeah, so invariably, this is the end of Almajiri. This is probably what we should see, perhaps the cessation of Almajiri system, isn't it?
By the grace of God, this crisis of the COVID-19 pandemic has provided the opportunity to end this system once and for all. It is gone. At least I can assure you that in Kaduna State, it is gone. In fact, today we reviewed a law that will formally prohibit this system. We are not just abolishing the system. We are not just telling the parents of the children that we've taken to their parents that they must go to school when schools reopen. And we have tracked each and every one of the parents, and we are going to counsel them on parental responsibility. It is a long process, but the children will go to school. They must go to school. At least in Kaduna State, I can assure you of that. If other governors treat this with levity or if not even handedly, that's their problem. But I want to assure you that in Kaduna State, the Almajiri system is dead once and for all.
So I like to move. Almajiri issue is a very big one in Nigeria. It's posed some challenges to governments in the past. But before I move on to the issue of education, because it has to do also with children being at home, are you worried with the fact that the rate and manner in which the COVID-19 is spreading amidst the Almajiri, each time they are seen and taking, you see the number of positive cases amidst them. Are you concerned about how this got into the Almajiri in the midst of these children?
Well, these children are street children. They go to people's homes to beg for food. During the day, they beg for alms in the streets. They interact with people that may be COVID positive, and they sleep in unhealthy and unsanitary conditions. Some of them, 50 of them in a small room, and so on. So it is very easy for one person to contract coronavirus and spread it. And I want you to note that we've received Almajiris from 5 other states. We've received from Nasarawa, from Plateau, I think from Gombe, and we do not have this kind of incidence of COVID positive like we have in Kano. I think the situation in Kano is unique to Kano. The rate of community transmission in Kano is extremely high, and this is what has affected the Almajiris from Kano in particular. As I said, Kaduna State has about 84 confirmed cases right from the beginning. 65 of these are Almajiris from Kano, not from any other state, from Kano. So it is a Kano problem more than an Almajiri problem. But of course, the circumstances of the lives of the Almajiri and the way they sleep and the way they interact with various segments of society makes them particularly vulnerable to contracting this disease and also transmitting it. And it's unfortunate. We must protect our children, and this is what we are doing as northern governors.
So, Governor El-Rufai, as it stands right now, there is a problem not only in Nigeria, not only in Kaduna State, but globally. As children are not at home, this is impacting on the academic year. They should be in the third term of the school year. Are you worried about this? What are you doing to ensure that children who are in public school or private, because private institutions are taking steps, what are you doing to ensure that pupils are not suffering in their academics?
Well, as soon as we took the decision to close down schools on the 23rd of March, our first concern was the SS3 students that will be taking WAEC and NECO sometime this year, COVID-19 permitting. So we made immediate arrangements to continue lessons using the radio. We cannot use the internet because we don't have 3G coverage all over Kaduna State, and there are parts of Kaduna State that don't even have GSM coverage. We've been working with the NCC to cover those black spots, but we do have them. So the only way we can continue lessons, prepare our SS3 students for WAEC and NECO was to use the radio, and the radio is used by 80% of people in Kaduna State for their information, education, and entertainment. So we're using the radio. So our SS3 students are fine. Our Ministry of Education is now developing lesson modules for others. We've started doing this using the radio, and we have started a process in which we'll also continue online education for our tertiary institutions. Those ones we believe can be done online because these are more sophisticated undergraduates of university, polytechnic, college of education, and college of nursing and midwifery. So we are working to impart learning on a distant basis. And we think that is the future. We want to develop this so that post-COVID-19 will begin to have a substantial part of our education done virtually using radio, television, and the internet.
Don't you think that may terribly impact on the poorest of the poor, those students or the pupils who parents cannot afford some of these gadgets, and looking at the issue of internet penetration in Nigeria, terribly low at the moment?
Yes, we believe so. This is why I said we are using the combination of radio, television, and the internet. There is no one in Kaduna State that cannot afford a radio. This is a cultural thing. Virtually every family in the north, every person carries his radio, and they get most of their education, information, and entertainment via the radio. So we are concerned about that. We're doing something. We're going to be doing something about it. We hope to invest aggressively in ensuring 3G and 4G coverage across the state within the next 6 months. We're working with the NCC, as I said, and the Minister for Communication and Digital Economy has promised us that all these black spots will be covered. But the Kaduna State government is also working with telco operators to put our own money to ensure that we have better coverage, 3G minimum, 4G, for this purpose. Because we believe that the education of the future, the education of our nation and the world post-COVID will be largely online and virtual. So the earlier we start investing in the infrastructure to facilitate that, the better, and we're going to do so. And we're in a position to do so. Discussions have already advanced in that regard.
Let me allow you to take a cup of tea or coffee, as the case may be, Governor El-Rufai. Stay with me because we'll get our final moment with you on the program. We'll take a break, and when we come back, there are a few questions that I need to ask that are very important in the fight against COVID-19. When we return, we take a closer look at the Abacha loot and what the federal government says it plans to do with the latest $311 million return to the country, plus our closing moments with Governor El-Rufai of Kaduna State. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Thank you so much, everyone, for staying with us. We've been talking about the fight against COVID-19, and we're talking to one of the champions of that, one of the victors. We came out victorious fighting COVID-19. The governor of Kaduna State, Malam Nasir El-Rufai. Thank you so much, Governor El-Rufai, for your time tonight. Before I move on to yet another story, that which a lot of Nigerians will like to get your views on, is the issue of the academic year. Some experts are saying, wouldn't it just be sensible for the academic examinations, the terminal examinations, or the major examinations to be postponed because of what may impact on the children, those who may not be readily well prepared outside of the classroom. They are not used to, for example, the junior WAEC examinations and the final year school certificate examination. Do you think that there should be some kind of postponement of these major exams?
Sheun, I'm not an expert in education. I have no opinion on this matter, but I'm sure that the Federal Ministry of Education and the State Ministry of Education are discussing this. These are extraordinary times. No one ever envisaged anything like this would happen to the world. The world has changed in a matter of months, and compromises, adjustments, and flexibility will be necessary for us to move forward. But honestly, I think that the best people to look at this matter and come to a conclusion as to what is best. It will not necessarily make everyone happy. It will not be the perfect answer, but we are not in a period of perfect answers. This COVID-19 matter is something that everyone is guessing and trying to get it right. No one knows the perfect solution, but I think our educationists at the federal and state levels will figure this out, and in consultation with WAEC and NECO and JAM, they will come to some kind of solution that will work for everybody. But I don't know. I honestly have no views on the matter yet.
What you probably will have a view on, Governor El-Rufai, is what a decision you made, which some find very unpopular, especially the workers who are involved. It is 25% in the slash of the salaries or the wage of workers. What informed this?
Well, I don't like the use of the word slash, because we are not reducing salaries. We are not reducing the take-home pay of anybody. Your pay remains the same, but you're contributing 25% of your net pay if you're a career public servant, and 50% of your net pay if you're a political appointee, to a fund that will be used to purchase food and necessities for those that are unfortunately unemployed, too poor, or cannot go out and earn a living because of the lockdown caused by coronavirus. That is all. We are just appealing to people's sense of solidarity and common humanity to donate to a pool of funds that will use to buy food and other necessities that will distribute to poorest and vulnerable people in Kaduna State. That is all we are asking for. It is not a slash in salary. It is a contribution, a compulsory contribution, if you like to call it that way. But we believe that a state that has less than 100%, less than 1% of its population as employed as public servants cannot consume 90% of federation account allocation without giving back some to feed and help those that are too poor to have a job or have no assurance of a job at all. And this is what we are talking about. This lockdown has forced many people that have to go out every day and earn a living from earning a living. So how are they going to feed? What are we going to do to justify locking them down in their homes if we don't give them food, at least, and other necessities so that they can stay at home and obey the law? This is what we are doing as public servants. We are contributing this to ensure that, along with other contributions, for instance, COVID is giving us food contributions of nearly 900 million. We are going to pull all this together and ensure that the poorest people in Kaduna State get food intervention so that they can live for another 1 month of lockdown without having to go out to earn a living. That is the idea behind it.
Governor,
salary slash. We are not slashing salaries at all.
So what do you say to people who think that instead of getting these like contribution, like you called it, what have you done? Some critics of this policy are thinking that have you cut down the cost of governance in Kaduna State rather than asking the workers to cut down by 25% of their net pay?
We did that 4 years ago, Sheung. Kaduna State government is one of the first governments to merge ministries. What the federal government now is doing, implementing the Oronsanye report, is what we have done 4 years ago. We reduced the number of ministries and commissioners we had in the state from 24 to 13. Right now, we have 14 commissioners. That is all. We've merged ministries, we've merged agencies, we've abolished some, we've retrenched workers that we don't think we needed. We've done verification of workers without ghost workers. We have reduced the number of political appointees. The governor before me had 400 special assistants. I have system-wide less than 40 special assistants to the governor, deputy governor, and all commissioners are all less than 40. The government before me had 4,000 or 5,000, 40 special advisors, I'm sorry, not special assistants. I have only 10. 400 special assistants, we have less than 40. So we've cut down the cost of governance. The Kaduna State government is slim and mean, and there is very little more to cut as far as the fat is concerned. We've done that.
All right.
4 years ago, 5 years ago.
So we have about 60 seconds to end the conversation. So I'd like to get one is a question, the other one is your view and from your experience. But quickly, the decision to ease the lockdown, do you think was the right one, considering the fear of Nigerians that, look, we might be experiencing a first wave, there might be another wave?
Look, I can only speak for Kaduna State because I have all the information to make a decision on Kaduna State. As far as we are concerned, when we look at the data, we do not see our infection rates going down. So we do not feel it's time to ease the lockdown in Kaduna State, and that's why we renewed it and extended it for another 30 days. Now, the federal government, or Mr. President, decided to ease the lockdown. He has a different set of information. I'm sure he has different sets of advisors who told him that it is okay to ease the lockdown. In Kaduna State, we are not easing because our numbers are not going down. They are rising. This rapid hike in our confirmed cases because of the Almajiris from Kano has really scared the living hell out of us. So we don't want to lock down. We don't want to slow down now. We don't want to ease the lockdown. We are watching the epidemiology. When we get advice from the health experts that our rate of transmission, our R is less than 1, then we will consider easing lockdown. But for now, we intend to sustain the lockdown. We intend to vigorously enforce the closure of our borders and not allow people, particularly from some of our neighbors that did not take the necessary steps to protect people from this virus from coming into our state. That is our resolve, and that's what I can say. Because I have all the information regarding Kaduna. I don't have all the information regarding Lagos, FCT, and Ogun states.
All right. So we go now, Governor El-Rufai. But before then, for a lot of people who are watching right now, some of them, some perhaps who are watching in an isolation center, battling the COVID-19, you have had your share of it and you came out of it successfully. What would you be telling anyone battling right now that you think might help them getting out of this?
Well, I think the most important thing is for you to psychologically take the position that you're going to defeat this virus. Secondly, please listen to your doctors. Do whatever they say. Obey your doctors and the nurses, those looking after you religiously. Exercise as much as you can and take your medication and just wait it out. It is your body, it is the strength of your immunity that fights the virus. The medication you get is just to help you deal with other morbidities that may affect you so that your antibodies, your immune system can fight the virus. And you can fight it, you can defeat it. Most people of my age, 60 and 50 and above, hardly survive COVID-19 infection, but I have. And I did so by just obeying what the doctors said, taking my medication, exercising a lot, and, psychologically priming myself that I am going to survive this because the people of Kaduna State elected me to do a job, and the job is not yet done. I still have 3 more years to get the job done. by the grace of God, I came out of it. I'm grateful to everyone for all the prayers and the outpouring of sympathy and support from across Nigeria. I'm very grateful. But by the grace of God, I'm here, I'm fine, and I'm back in my job. And I'll try to do the best I can to justify the confidence that the people of Kaduna State have vested in me.
Malam Nasir El-Rufai, the Executive Governor of Kaduna State, there for us. Thank you so much indeed for your time tonight on the program.
Thank you for inviting me.